Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
From the first barrel shot at the opening of Dr. No, Sean Connery would make James Bond 007 an iconic figure to the spy genre. The character has been known for his formulaic trademarks like his name introduction,
Bond. James Bond.
his stylish cars, his cool gadgets, the campy villains, and of course, the Bond girls. Over the years, he's been interpreted by different actors, from an elegant swab to a hopeless romantic, light-hearted campiness, more serious, less serious. But recently, Bond has taken a much darker and less charming depiction that some might look at him as outdated for our modern standards of what a man and a hero should look like. For a time, as in the era of the Me Too movement, some may label Bond as the embodiment of toxic masculinity, from the way he kills, the way he treats women, his out-of-control temperament. And with No Time to Die being Daniel Craig's last appearance as 007, has left some uncertainties to the future of the character. Is this the end of James Bond? Do critics have a point labeling him as some sort of a tyrant? Is the character too old-fashioned for our modern standards?
No, but going forward, should we be making substantial, obvious change?
I'll be taking a look at the character's backstory, from his origins with Ian Fleming and the movies, to look at what could possibly be the greatest villain Bond has ever faced. Himself. Is James Bond a villain? Bond was first created as a fictional character in Ian Fleming's books, as a form of a journal that shared his World War II experiences fighting the fascists while serving the British Navy intelligence. The books would also express some of Ian Fleming's characteristics into James Bond, from his life of espionage, his love of cars, swimming, skiing, alcohol, gambling, his views on women, and yes, even the gadgets are real. In the films, Bond's origins are left vague and uncertain. We get a few glimpses of his traumatic backstory in Skyfall, the place where he lived most of his childhood.
Skyfall. Done.
In the book, You Only Live Twice, we're told that Bond became an orphan at age 11 after his parents died in a mountain climbing accident. He was taken care after by his aunt and would go to high prestigious colleges where he didn't feel like he fit in very well.
My guess is you didn't come from money, and your school friends never let you forget it.
As well as in the books, he joined the Navy and was very active during World War II, which led him to be recruited as a paid assassin for the British Secret Services of MI6. Knowing his track record as an orphan, this made him fit perfectly for the job, since in reality this organization specializes in recruiting agents who lost a parent at a young age, so they may have a sense of loyalty and view their spy master as a father figure.
Orphans always make the best recruits.
So from what we know, Bond was brought from a vulnerable position where he hadn't gotten over his traumatic loss of his parents, was very lonely, started womanizing at age 16, and for lack of better words, that vulnerability was used as a weapon by his agency to exploit his enemies, while at the same time, this would exploit his own inner demons, which would manifest, and most of the times, be out of control. For James Bond, killing is part of his job, but some look at him as either a cold-blooded killer or a glorified psychopath. He's done it for so long that we can guess this has affected him internally, meaning that he must have detached himself from many of these emotional senses, such as remorse or compassion, shown by the way he has fun killing his enemies by making puns after.
He had lots of guts.
What happened? Where's Goldfinger?
Playing his golden harp.
Now what are you doing?
Just being disarming, darling.
What happened?
He got the boot.
Unless you follow the philosophy that as long as you kill bad people, you're one of the good guys, then that's a safe cop-out for Bond's defense, since he has always killed the bad people.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad.
But some of the times he's done it very violently and gruesomely. He's shown that he's very compulsive and way out of control. Whenever he doesn't get his way, he resolves it by killing even when it wasn't part of his mission.
We wanted to question him, not to kill him.
And so many of his reckless behaviors has gotten him either suspended or even kicked out of the agency.
Your license to kill is revoked, and I require you to hand over your weapon.
Whenever real-life spy chief was asked if James Bond will have a job in the real MI6, he said no due to his reckless behavior and disregard for orders. For Bond, killing is no longer a job, it has become his lifestyle. Despite many other talents he possesses that could benefit him, killing is all he's ever known. It has left him so empty about life that he doesn't believe in anything, or attempt to look more than what meets the eye.
Always makes me feel a little melancholy. A grand old warship being ignominiously hauled away for scrap. What do you see?
A bloody big ship.
If he were to live a life without killing, he would be wasting it away with alcohol. Now, of course, Bond's profession is no candy store. His world is dangerous and can get pretty ugly very quickly, but even he needs some sort of emotional support to help him remain balanced, which he doesn't. He has no friends, and the ones he had have turned his back on him.
Friend of yours?
I don't have any friends.
He has no family left, and the few he has left have tried to kill him, just like his stepbrother Inspectre. So whatever he feels inside has to bottle it in, since there is no one he can trust.
You don't trust anyone, do you, James?
No.
The closest he's had to a mother figure are from the likes of M, played by Judi Dench, but their relationship seems to be very toxic and not supportive.
I thought M was a randomly assigned letter. I had no idea it stood for...
Utter one more syllable and I'll have you killed.
There's even a point when M orders to shoot Bond if it meant to take down their targeted enemy, which it does hit Bond.
Take the bloody shot!
Even Q, the closest to a father figure he has for providing him the gadgets, is not so keen of him for how he mistreats his gadgets.
Grow up, 007.
How are you? Most unhappy 007, thanks to you.
Q, have I ever let you down?
Frequently.
So in the world of Bond, which is filled with danger and a toxic environment from an agency that is willing to take him down if it's necessary, meaning that he doesn't matter, he's replaceable, he is no friend or a son to anyone. He's just a tool that can be replaced by another, and no one will miss him.
If you think for one moment I don't have the balls to send a man out to die, your instincts are dead wrong. I've no compunction about sending you to your death.
This type of environment can make anyone snap with madness and vengeance. The best James Bond movies are the ones that deal with whether his lifestyle of killing was a personal choice or was he picked because he had no choice. And it's those type of films that try to look if there's any humanity left inside James Bond.
Is this really what you want? Living in the shadows? Hunting? Being hunted?
How can you act like this? How can you be so cold?
It's what keeps me alive.
Doesn't bother you killing those people?
I wouldn't be very good at my job if it did.
From a toxic environment to a toxic relationship, one of the biggest James Bond criticisms is how often women are exploited as sex objects, showing up half naked most of the time and having very explicit, suggestive names.
My name is Pussy Galore.
Miss,
Sure me. How do you know my friends call me Domino?
or may I call you Triple X?
Hi, I'm Plenty.
But of course you are.
Xenia Sergeyevna on the top.
On the top?
I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.
You just found her.
Most of it is due to how Ian Fleming wrote them. Now, it should be noted that Fleming was a man of his time during post-World War II, when women were expected to do work only at home. But some of his writings would be too extreme and sometimes unacceptably vulgar, as it was in The Spy Who Loved Me when he wrote, "All women love semi-rape."
You know, this sort of behavior could qualify as sexual harassment.
In the movies, Bond is an elegant, womanizing charmer who lures women to fall for him. Even the villainous females that try to kill him, they still have a sense of lust towards him. But in the books, he's also described as having dark, rather cruel good looks, meaning that underneath his charms, there is a sexist, misogynistic side to him, who disposes of women once he's slept with them, then moves on to the next.
You think of women as disposable pleasures rather than meaningful pursuits.
In the era of the Me Too movement, it's very hard to imagine Bond having a place in this culture. In a world where this movement hunts down men who rape and abuse women, it would feel contradictory for someone to support a character like this, who not only seduces women, but can turn aggressively violent and abusive towards them.
Wow, you're hurting my arm!
I'll break it unless you tell me where those bullets go.
For some men, it might give the wrong impression that as long as you keep forcing yourself towards women, eventually they will give in to us, regardless if we abuse or mistreat them. Just as in Goldfinger, where the female lead is a lesbian. At first she's not interested in Bond, but later he forces himself into her, ultimately giving in to his charms, which in our modern standards it would be considered as rape. This is the main reason why some of the new generation considers Bond more of a villain than a hero, to the point even the films had to acknowledge his misogyny.
Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War.
On the other hand, when looking at the past Bond girl actresses, most of them have felt empowered over playing these sexy roles, criticizing their moments of sexism, but glorifying their moments of strength. Sure, it may ask them to take their clothes off, but in some researches, according to Dr. Keon West, it's proven that when confronting a social taboo such as nudity, it can boost up anyone's confidence for the sense of liberation and disregard for what anyone thinks.
The fact that I can say to people I was a Bond girl and a flicker of respect.
I'd give anything to be a Bond girl even now.
So I guess I can see why some women would feel empowered when facing something so feared and shamed by society as nudity is. And in the past years, the female roles have evolved to show them more active, independent, and strongly portrayed on the screen, other than just sex appeals. Then again, it could be argued that it was written by men as just a fantasy form. However, the misogyny is not there to play down to women. It has a purpose to add another tragic layer to the James Bond character. The book as well as the film Casino Royale tell the origin of James Bond, how he became a 00 agent, and how he got his misogynistic views, if you can follow up the film's confusing timeline with the other sequels. In Casino Royale, Bond is sent into a mission with Vesper, who he disapproves because she's a woman.
No, don't worry. You're not my type.
But after showing his vulnerable side to her and both getting into trouble, he genuinely falls in love with her, to the point he was close to resigning as a 00 agent and have a normal life with her. But tragically, it ends in betrayal, leading up to Vesper's death and forcing Bond to return back to his life of assassin. The only woman he ever loved and genuinely cared, the only person he ever showed his vulnerability, lied to and betrayed him, leaving him alone with nothing.
Job's done. That bitch is dead.
This would explain why he's so cold towards women, using them for the spare moment only to leave them before they betray him.
A deceitful, perverse woman, a liar, a cheat, and I'd like some answers now.
Now that wouldn't stop him to get revenge for Vesper's death in the next sequel. But that wasn't the last time he gave love a second chance. In Your Majesty's Secret Service, he goes further by getting married with Teresa after his long, genuine relationship with her. But tragedy fell once again, leaving Bond back into his lonely life of killing. So no matter how much he tries, he will never have a life of happiness that he needs. He can't build any attachments, or otherwise they'll end up dead.
You've got a choice, you know. Just because you've done something doesn't mean you have to keep doing it.
Maybe he does have no choice when killing. Every time he's close of getting out, something pulls him back in. Maybe he is condemned to live a lonely life of meaningless bloodshed. As much as we like to think of Bond as a Bruce Wayne type, who travels, lives exotically, dates beautiful women, and is tragically lost in his world of violence, he's actually close to resembling the Joker. Someone who's ready to snap after a traumatic past, a life of loneliness, lies, and betrayal from friends and loved ones who he cared, adding into his disturbed tendency of disregarding orders when killing, just as it did to Agent Javier in Skyfall, who's a mirror reflection of what Bond could become if he were to give in to his dark inclinations.
Look upon your work, Mala.
So why do we still look at James Bond as a hero? He's shown that he's a disturbed man, detached from human emotions, and abusive towards women. Maybe for the same reason we look at him as a villain, that we find him to be a compelling anti-hero. His life is filled with tragedy to make anyone snap with insanity, just as it did to former good agents turn into villains. But James hasn't reached that level yet where he snaps. He has kept his composure to not cross the line between his job and his desire for vengeance. And it's not a job he fully enjoys. If he had more guidance, maybe he would find a way to get out, showing that there is still some humanity left in him.
Anyway, I don't stop to think about it.
What would happen if you did?
Stop.
But if for any reason he can't quit that easily, could also be due to his loyalty towards his country.
But James, I need you.
So does England.
He's a patriot, and in the spy world where killing is romanticized, it helps him deal with the bloodshed as a greater good to stop the evil villains. The fact that the movies have sidetracked from the book's crueler and more serious depiction into a witty, charming spy has made it easy for some to see past his flaws. While some of his actions towards women is unacceptable, the culture keeps evolving, and so does the character as the women in it. During the time Daniel Craig has played the role, it has teased with the idea whether the character is too old-fashioned, has James Bond lost his elegance, and is it time to retire the character and bury the franchise? And my guess is probably not.
86% of people have said no, James Bond shouldn't.
No, really?
The formula to what makes James Bond will still be there, but maybe with a few changes. So whether you love him for his manly wit or hate him for his misogynistic conduct, he will always be the villainous hero that we secretly want to be.
Why can't nice guys be more like you?
Because then they'd be bad.
For those of you who are aspiring to be YouTubers out there, here are a few advices. Make sure not to invite your whole family into your place, otherwise such unfortunate events like this will happen. The time as in the era of the Me Too movement.
No es cierto.
¡Cállate! It'll save you time and energy. So what do you think of the James Bond franchise? Are you a fan of it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And if you are a fan, what are some of your favorite and least favorite James Bond films? Leave it in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Well guys, tune in next time because when I get back, I'll be talking about Schindler's List. No comparison, just on its own. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao.
Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum.